Hi, hello, how are you? My name is Nick, aka Loaded Wombat. We're back with, not even back. We're really kind of rebooting this whole idea of a podcast. My goal is to kind of eventually upgrade this whole look and everything like that, obviously. But as of right now, I would like to kind of keep it a little bit simple. Here's how this is going to work, all right? Two main segments. There might be more than that eventually. I don't freaking know. But two main segments right now. Number one is going to be where we shoot the sheet and I talk with you guys like we're doing right now. I'm going to talk to you guys about what's been going on with the stream recently, all of that kind of stuff. And it should be pretty fun. So we're kind of do that, each week. Boom. All right. That's the plan at least. And then after that, we'll go into a segment where it's a little bit of an RP, like GTA roleplay RP, like, what am I saying? GTA roleplay recap is what I'm trying to say. So my vision for that is that I will invite other people onto the stream. This week's is going to be Sunny Day, aka TEXASREVEREND. A lot of you guys might know that character. And we're going to just talk with him. And we're actually going to cover this whole like drug arc that we've been doing recently on my stream where we are making an empire. And just talking about how that's been going. I think there's going to be a lot of really cool things that we end up talking about in today's segment. I actually haven't recorded yet while I'm recording this. That might change in the future, yada, yada. But this first portion is meant so that I can kind of shoot the sheet, talk with you guys, and then we'll go into that segment after this. So right now, I want to kind of recap what has happened over the last year for my stream. Like, it has been absolutely nuts. And it's been crazy. And I'm going to kind of end up pulling up some like stats for you guys and stuff like that. But, bro, I just got to say, if you guys recently found me or you guys have been coming back to the streams, things like that, you guys have been absolutely insane. The stream has grown immensely, like ridiculous amounts. And I'm going to show you guys really quick what I mean by that. This is kind of a little bit busted, but I'm going to just switch scenes here really quick. So right down here, you're going to see this is insane. Like we have kind of similar numbers for around like 4 years, right? Maybe a little bit longer than that. And then all of a sudden over here in, once it hit like January, we really started climbing. And this is where I really, I'll talk about strategy and stuff, but this is where I really started using TikTok, which is kind of cool to see. And kind of utilizing that plan and putting a plan in place for that. So, yeah, but as of recent, it's been us focusing on that niche of RP. So my big strategy that I think has like kind of led to this has been really centered around like three things. Consistency is obviously one of them. I've been streaming a similar schedule for around 4 years plus. I think people have become used to it. I go live Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. Pacific time, and it just kind of works, It just kind of works. I think I fit into a good time schedule for people, kind of across the map, generally, and it's just nice. So, yeah, that's been one of my strategies, and then my second strategy was I wanted to niche down, and so I kind of chose that I was going to start streaming mainly GTA. And I felt like GTA roleplay is something I'm good at, something that I feel like confident in, but I enjoy. And yeah, and so we decided, when I say we, I mean like I decided that would be the game plan is consistency, obviously, of not only streaming, but posting on other platforms, TikTok, YouTube, as much as we could, but mainly TikTok and then niching down something that people could know me for and kind of focus in on. And then after that was just like going live on TikTok at the same time. When I went live on TikTok at the same time, for the first time in my entire live streaming career, I was discoverable, I became discoverable, which is like super, super cool. And I could stream longer and just get more and more people, more and more eyes on me. And that was something that was like super valuable to me. And I think I'm starting to learn, the broadcasting thing isn't something I've figured out or anything by any means or anything like that. But I've at least been able to now kind of unravel how to go about this and how to, start to entertain people over a long period of time. And that's kind of really the goal, is just to get better every single day. I don't think I'll ever like feel like I figured it out, but I just want to get better every single day. And that's kind of hopefully what we've been doing. And so, dude, if any of you guys have joined in recently, or maybe you guys have been rocking with me for a long time, especially been rocking with me for a long time, holy hell, it's been a really exciting little ride so far. Now, the big thing I do personally, emotionally with all this stuff is I try not to get too excited, right? Like I try not to get too excited. I try not to get too down when things go down. And luckily, I think we've kind of kept that, and we've kind of stayed in a pretty good, like, even keel emotionally. So, when the hard times do hit, then we can keep pushing forward. You know what I mean? But that's kind of been our strategy. And now it's just kind of keep striking, while the iron's a little bit hot, and keep moving and grooving and trying to create the best stuff that we possibly can. And I think that's been happening. I recently was... So we've been on Rush Hour RP, which is the server we've been on. And if you guys don't understand how like the whole GTA roleplay thing works, servers are a big piece of what you do, right? The server needs to be able to be something that you can create in. It's got to be something that you have, you just have the ability to do what you do and do it to a high ability. And it's just got to be that, And Rush Hour RP was definitely that for a long time for me. And then there was a kind of like a little bit of a rough patch. Not that Rush Hour was the problem. It was just that there was not a lot of new players coming into Rush Hour. And there was not a lot of... it was also getting like DDoS at the time, which is like a really rough thing because we just couldn't log into the server. It was just always down. And it was hard to figure out for them and all that kind of stuff. And then we moved over to PRODIGYRP, which was like a server that blew up because a lot of big content creators were playing on it. And I kind of wanted to try the opposite of what I was at the time. I wanted to try a server that was like popping, like that was just like absolutely popping in the sense of like player count. Because I felt like, oh man, I'd be able to RP with anybody and everybody and have all these different things going. And when I got there, it just really wasn't the case. The server mechanics were built to be very grindy. So everybody was kind of doing that. I think everybody was looking to RP with the big streamers on there versus RP with each other, if I'm completely honest with you. And yeah, I think Prodigy might have like figured out some of their stuff now. I don't know, but ever since I kind of like realized that, there was kind of a point where I just decided, you know what? We're gonna go back to Rush Hour. They figured out their DDoS problems. They figured out, a lot of the other stuff, and let's just see if we can, just build something there. And that's kind of where we're at now. And I had a dip. I definitely had a dip in. I say a dip in viewership, and the dip that I hit was like literally, I couldn't imagine. Like I'll show you guys really quick. So this dip that I hit right here is the dip I'm talking about. It's like 124 average viewers, and that is literally like, I mean. When I was back over here, I just started to not even imagine that, I just like these times are absolutely enjoyed. But like in terms of like the hitting partnership or getting up above 100 viewers average for a month or anything like that was just something I could never like imagine. I just began, and it's still like a mentality I have where I just care that like the people who are there is the only thing I can really control and the only thing I can really care about, So I just care about the individuals that are there. So big shout out to you guys if you guys watch me all the time. I just care about the individuals no matter what size they're at, And so I just could never like imagine that. And so when you see that, it's just weird like mental thing. And I don't know if this happens like in other industries or if this is something that, whatever. But once you hit like a goal or hit something like that, it becomes your next low. You know what I mean? So like I hit this goal. I'm like, boom. Okay. I've hit like Twitch partnership, which is crazy. I've hit this goal. And then all of a sudden it goes up, and I go, okay, so 75 average viewers is my new low now. And that was like something I could never even like imagine before. And then now it's like, oh wow, I just hit 176 in September. And that's my new like shell. It's just like, it's kind of toxic, And so I try to stay away from it. The only thing I can really focus on, like I literally can't even control that number. The only thing I've been focusing on lately is just consistency of posting, baby. So those things I talked about already, where I'm consistently posting, consistently streaming, and bringing the highest quality I can possibly bring, in my opinion. That's all I can really control. Outside of like trying to treat people right, that kind of stuff and whatnot. So I don't know, but I'm just really excited with where the channel's at. We've got some big goals for this year that pertain to YouTube, things like this podcast, and things like that. I just really want to stretch myself to do some different stuff and try to entertain doing some different stuff as well, and outside of just the live stream, And so I'm excited about this podcast. I think it's gonna be really, really cool. We're gonna cover like topics, stuff like that during this particular scenario, but for this first episode, I just really want to bring you guys in on what's going to happen and how it's going to happen and what it's going to look like and all that kind of stuff. And then the RP recap is going to be exactly what we would normally do. Now, in terms of setup and how the whole thing looks and all that kind of stuff, we're trying to figure out what we want to do with that. But just for this first one, bare bones, we're just talking it out, we're just talking it out. So that's pretty much it. Life-wise, right now, dude, life's just been going good. We're saving money, trying to. We live in Los Angeles, California, so we're kind of just trying to figure out what we want to do. Like, do we want to just move out of the state and just give ourselves a raise? But the only thing that's stopping me is that I'm really close with my brother. Like, I'm really, really close with my brother, and I don't want to be far away from him. Which maybe it sounds weird to some people, but my brother and I have just been kind of like ride or die since like young, and we're just kind of focused on being around each other, helping each other create, keeping each other in a creative mindset. My brother does wants to become a director like for films, and he's doing like short films. He's working at a production company now, and I just feel like we encourage each other, man, and I just want to be around that still. I just want to stick around that, and I want to be around it, and I want to stay around it. And so the hard part about that is this is like the most expensive area I could ever live. It's like the most expensive area I could ever live. And I don't know. I just don't know anymore. Because, yeah. Whatever. Adult things, I suppose, But other than that, I mean, like, Jordy and I, we feel very lucky to be able to live. And we've never, missed rent or anything like that. And being in an industry that I'm in, and her working as well from home, it's just where we feel very lucky to be doing what we're doing, And as of recent, the stream has been just doing it absolutely incredibly, financially speaking, that I never could imagine. Like, it could be where it's at now, and maybe one day I'll be like, couldn't imagine it could be at this point, or whatever. But I just feel, I guess the correct word would be blessed. I don't know, like religiously where I'm at with everything, like what I believe on that. But I just think, yeah, I almost feel that way. Blessed by like other people, supporting the stream, believing in what I'm trying to build. And have been trying to build for the last like 4 years. So big W's, big W's, big W's, big W's. And the places will go. You know what I'm saying? Oh, the places will go. But that's going to be it for our first segment here. What we're going to be going over to now is going to be actually our GTA recap section. And I'm going to be hanging out with Sonny Day. So you'll see another version of me, I guess, in a way, or when I'm talking with Sonny. And so we're going to go ahead and skip over to that. Thank you guys so much for tuning into this podcast. If you guys haven't subscribed to this channel yet, subscribe to it so you can get you can know when this podcast goes live or watch our other videos. And we'll see you guys. We'll see you guys in the next one as well as in this next segment. Okay? All right. Okay. See you over there. Bye. I was thinking about doing this, and I'm like, man, I don't know. Is it going to be weird to talk about RP and like make another thing centered around like RP? You know what I mean? Like, yeah. It's just like you spend so much time in this fake world that like, is it even going to be something that is interesting to people? But I think it'll be kind of cool to hear some of the thought process behind like really what at the center of it, it's improv, you know? And
Well,
so
if you think about it, right, most people who are watching your stream or actually watching any RP stream are new to RP,
yeah.
meaning they're living vicariously through their favorite streamer, but they've actually never done that as an activity. And so like
Mm.
hearing, why did you do this? Why would you get caught? Why would you actually not run away? Why would you not shoot him? You know, like all these things. It's because of the character, and I think that's what with any server you figure out is there's people who you can tell very quickly who've RP'd and who haven't. Right? How
Yeah.
quickly do they reach for their gun? It's usually the first way that I can see if someone has RP'd or not in GTA.
Yeah, I think that's actually a really funny thing to say because GTA in nature is very violent, you know?
Mhm.
And
Yep.
then you come over to like RP and then it's like a whole nother world. I remember that was like, it wasn't a purposeful decision, but like RPing my first character, Rick Marshall, was like the best idea for that because he was like a, 50 something, like recent divorcee was like the background story. And that he was just coming in and like having to rebuild his life after divorcing, you know? And he's
I remember
never
that. I remember that character, by the way. I was like, because this was back ages ago.
Yeah,
and we
never
didn't
met,
RP together then. But I
No,
remember always hearing about Rick Marshall and how I was not supposed to let this guy get mayor. And like it was a big thing because I think at the time, Pinky, who played another character, was also running for mayor, and it was like this bit. I knew him, and I'm like, screw this Rick Marshall guy.
Yeah, screw this guy. But yeah, I think it kind of started me off well because it was by nature it was like an RP character.
Yep.
And I didn't have to like have the worry. I didn't even touch a gun for the first like I got a gun, but I didn't shoot a gun for I think for the first 3 months of RP. And the only thing I shot was like an NPC because we did like a funny like drug mission or something like that back in the day. You know, like where did we meet? Like, so when did we first meet? Was it in Rush Hour the first time we RP'd?
It was in Rush Hour, yeah. So I had actually I think you had maybe pinged me and said, hey, I'm on this new server, like or something. Somehow, no, actually Lorenzo did.
Okay.
Cup of Joe brought me over to Rush Hour, I think. Anyways, I remember meeting you on the steps of Alta, actually. In your stupid plaid shirt. You're like, hey, yeah, man, you just like that was because the people were getting arrested out front. You're like, let's go. And you throw me in your car, which is cool. And then we drive off, and literally within a day, somehow we're robbing a house. And I have no idea what happened because I think that was the day you got hit with a baseball bat in the face.
Oh,
in the house, going around a corner, and I'm sitting in the car with like no idea what's going on. Because we weren't in groups. We didn't know about groups. We didn't know about any of this shit, dude.
Well, it was kind of funny because when we started out at Rush Hour, it was like nobody would help you with anything.
Yep.
Like because I was just starting out at Rush Hour when we had met.
Yep.
And no one would help you out with anything. I didn't know how to like hack or anything like that. So, which I kind of liked that journey. You know, I think that journey was an interesting journey. It was I think it was kind of boring for viewership and stuff like that, but it kind of like picked up after a bit. But anyone who stuck through that, now they see where we've kind of gotten to. It's kind of cool. But
do you remember when we got our first 20K and how because you met Mason and this is what's hilarious. You met Mason and he gave you the hookup and then we got our first 20K. And at that point, I moved over to Cop for a couple of months while you like built the shadows and did all this extra work. So that when I came back, there was a nice warm home to sleep in.
Well, actually, before that, we were with Kurt, dude, and we did AI. Remember, we did the little.
Yeah, we were holding down
it was
Life
like a
Invader.
joke gang. Yeah.
We were holding down. That was our turf. No, like dude, we were all petty crime.
Yeah,
we were trying to figure out banks. If you remember, like we're like, what do we do? We're gonna just bring a hostage to a bank and figure it out. Didn't work out too well. Because once again, and I liked it. We really had to myth bust like where to get the laptops, where to get like. Remember when I think it was from my friends up in the county.
Yeah,
we learned about the narco spot,
dude. When we learned that, it was actually
that was
the biggest unlock ever. And most people learn that like day one or like from a stream or something, you know. But like, we actually didn't learn that until somebody told us about it. I never even seen it on a stream. It was like blew my mind.
Actually, so you took a break because I ended up in the county because you took a break because you were going single player for a little bit.
Yep.
And then when you came back, I decided I'm going to take a break. But we had a chance for a little bit of overlap, like for about a 1 month period. to like unlock all this stuff, and then you met Jack and Dino and that crew, and
Yeah, because Jack, he was on PMA before and stuff, and so
Yep.
I had met him before, but we didn't really like fly in. When I saw him, I didn't like go immediately up to him,
Yeah.
because I was just trying to like create something new and stuff like that, and then it kind of fit in, it just kind of worked. Eventually, I don't remember exactly when, but yeah, dude, it's crazy.
What's cool is like I actually really enjoy the relationship of our characters, because I think a lot of people, when they watch your stream, right? Because I'll even watch your stream back, and there's a sense of like frustration between the two characters, almost like
Yeah.
siblings,
Absolutely.
right? And what's cool about that is there's like this almost undying loyalty between the two, and I'm not saying it's going to happen soon. At some point, when like enough friction happens to where this partnership breaks up,
Yeah.
dude, it's gonna like it's gonna be really impactful for those two characters. Like I actually don't know how much damage that would do to both characters. I probably would do more damage to Sonny
Yeah.
than to Nick, because Nick can go rob a bank.
No, I think the centerpiece of like Nick, I've said from the beginning, is he cares about himself. Like,
Yeah.
So like the backstory of that character, there's like YouTube videos that I have, but is that he's got a family that he was robbing things for. Like that's the
Yep.
reason he got into it. And so that's where like, now it's kind of like he's lost that. He has
Yep.
no family connection because they want nothing to do with him because of how he got the money.
Mhm.
And then so now like it's just about him. Like he's like, I don't want to get
Yeah.
hurt again. You know what I mean? I just want everything about me. I'll get close with people, but I'll like keep it at as distant as possible. I think Sonny's been the only relationship that is really like him, and actually Clarence, which is kind of funny because
Yeah.
I purposely choose like, because I've played like kind of wacky characters before, and I've had that feeling of being written off.
Mhm.
Like the moment you meet somebody and they just will not give you anything.
Yeah.
And I hate that. I mean, you can
I could
expand on that.
absolutely. I get it. Like, dude, we walk up in any gang, if I would have been at that, let's talk about the gang meeting. If Sonny would have been at that gang meeting, and Sonny would have been like, "Yeah, well, we're gonna rob my stripes," like everyone would have been like, "Who the hell are you?" Like that would have been the response. Kind of like Bill Dale, right? Like Bill Dale was this over the top character, and honestly, some of those gangs are like, "You're a joke."
Yep.
But it's because I think that. And it's just kind of the nature of the beast. People forget that these are characters that we're playing, right? That we're all role playing as. And so even if a character is outlandish or a character is completely different than what a normal person would be like in real life, invest in that. Find out what they're about. That's why the Clarence thing, dude. Like, honestly, I guarantee Clarence had a lot of trouble getting people to interact with him.
Yep.
Initially.
Absolutely.
And I think what he became by the end of it was great, because and honestly, I'll say it was mainly you. You gave him so many opportunities to show off this very dynamic character that when you first meet him feels flat, and then by the time you're like watching him jump off a mountain, it's like the range of that character is very, very impressive, and the depth of it.
Yeah, I think there was something that I learned through that like storyline that was kind of fun for me, and it's kind of funny is like. It's just a fucking video game, but I've learned so much just like through like about like improv and like even maybe like writing, not that my stuff's scripted, it's a joke.
Yep.
Yes, it's a joke, but like actually about writing that really interests me about putting together scenes. And with his character, I challenged myself I wanted to create some things that were like those feel good moments that you don't really see in GTRP a lot.
Like the bowling night.
Yeah, like most of the time you see moments that are like funny, or you see moments that are like shooting, or you see moments of whatever. And Sonny and I have had those moments before, like the moment that we just did, which I want to talk about the drug arc, so I don't want to like skip around too much, but like the moment that I just did with like writing like a letter to, it's kind of a little
screw you for that
stuff.
letter, by the way, because that unlocked meta for Sonny, by the way.
Yeah.
Sonny did not know. I had no idea of your past. He's never.
Yeah,
You have never talked about your past at 1 minute. It was escalating like Sonny's response. Like you did nothing to calm the response of that character down. You actually inflated it, and it was that's kind of why I kind of hate this 4-man rule, because it was disappointing, because I had no way to keep pushing it and keep going it. Like and that's a 4-man RP sucks. because it
Yeah.
puts a limit on what you can build and how you can take a story. But at the same time, I think like over the next couple of days, right, as we explore more, now there's this new depth that Sonny knows about Nick. And now Sonny's gonna have to tell Nick that he called Taylor and they're now dating. And it's like this incredible thing that
And now
your kids call me dad, you know?
Yeah.
It's like
yo, that'd be crazy. So I still went and visited, and we fell in love.
yeah. They're moving in town, actually. It's gonna be weird.
If anyone listening doesn't know what we're talking about, basically, we're in the middle of, and kind of at the later end, I would say, of creating like this whole drug story arc where we've started to build a storyline just centered around a really mundane mechanic in a GTA server of selling like meth. I probably shouldn't say that, but whatever. Just selling it, and
virtual meth, by the way. Virtual meth.
Yeah, very in GTA. Just to be clear. But we just like, actually Sonny and I had the idea, or like Texas Reverend and I had the idea in character actually, and we're like, we were just talking one night about what we should do, yada yada yada. I think we were like just boosting or something. I don't remember what we were doing.
We were joking about making an MLM, if you remember. Like we're like, it's gonna be like Avon.
Yes.
Like that was the whole story. Like we were just kind of
yeah, and that kind of progressed into what it is now. And so I wanted to like split up everything. Like I wanted to have sellers when it makes no sense to have a seller, like mechanic wise, like you're making way less money. I wanted to have us cook everything. I wanted to do all that. And then the idea came up that I wanted to press other people who were supplying.
Yeah.
And we're in the middle of that currently. And I want to unpack that today, because I have some thoughts on it already that are good and bad. I think I did some things good, did some things bad, and we might have some repairing this week, but we'll see what happens.
But before, like let's talk about. There's two things, right?
Yeah,
and this is for the non-RP people. What? And I'm giving you like 90% of the credit because you're doing a lot of the work, and I'm just coming along to help boost. But it's this is truly story RP. When you have something that transcends multiple characters over multiple large periods of time, it's a campaign. He's created essentially a tabletop campaign in GTA. He's the dungeon master, and everyone else is getting a chance to interact and kind of do skill checks and things like that of like how things are going to happen by him. What's cool now is now it's fanned out, and we have more people coming in to like mini DM a lot of other aspects of this. So it's we have this massive campaign. The normal RP that we had been doing is episodic. So meaning that they're all one shots. It's we come in, we do some goofy stuff. Ha ha ha. See you tomorrow.
Great way to say it.
And that's why I love what we're doing here. And that's the same thing with our future idea. We still do our ha 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 episodic stuff, but we're also creating this nice long thread that is pulling people from all over the server, all over the city into the story.
Yeah, and for anyone who didn't catch this like drug arc, what we did was we were targeting new people who needed to make money to become sellers, and then they could move up in that organization to kind of become managers and things like that. And eventually they could become like actually in our gang, which the gang and that were separate, but it was kind of a way for us to find some like talented people and just get our peers and stuff like that. Yep. But what was cool about that is like new people for the first time in a long time were able to be a part of something that was like a moving like thing. Like it's like, you know, we have drivers who pick up the people who like when the cops are like on them and all that kind of stuff. And it kind of culminated until I had that idea to start pushing sellers, which I don't regret having that idea. I think that's a good idea. There's something that happened though where we got called into a gang meeting because we had stabbed a seller in GTA, and the gangs didn't like that it was a gang member that we had stabbed. Which, hey, it's anyone's power to RP out whatever the hell they want to RP out. You can't tell anybody what's good and bad and that kind of stuff. It's not about that really. But we got into this meeting. And everything we've been doing up till now has been like slow burn RP, like through this thing. Like, and what slow burn RP means is just that you're really allowing the story to drive no matter how long it takes. Doesn't necessarily mean it takes a long time, but you're letting it fan out as long as it would take. And this meeting we got called out basically for doing what we're doing with not like crazy amounts of proof or things like that. And so now it's like sent our, it's basically like sending a TV show from season 1, episode 10 to season 3, in my opinion.
Yeah, well, and my hiccup with that, and I'll say it, right? Like I'll go ahead and tell you, I don't agree with some of the decisions that were made to lead to that point. I understand it's RP. We all have a different idea. I also think this. So for me, if I'm in character, and let's say I'm Sonny, and someone that I know is getting pressed or they're at war, etc., why do I care? Not my people, not my problem, right? And I think that's what's maybe a little, like that's what's everyone's gonna see over the next week. Is somehow this went from what probably should have been a not my people, not my problem until they get pressed to everybody's problem and
against the shadows. I think we're the best people to handle it though.
No, we are because we're not going to
from an OOC standpoint.
Yeah.
It's going to get weird. It's going to get annoying. But sorry, go ahead. I cut you off.
Yeah, no, but I mean I think that's the tough part though. Nick is or Wombat, Wombat Nick Wombat. That's the problem is that no matter what you do, right? Everyone has their own idea of story. They're going to push their own things. I'm super thrilled about it. The one thing that I just want to stress, and it's what I always try to stress in my character is why would my character react a certain way? I will never shoot someone for stealing my car. I will never shoot at someone for stealing my car. It doesn't make sense to me. Jack's character probably would. Jack's character will probably shoot you for looking at him sideways. So, but that's his character. And I think that's something that I like. And this is where when you have an RP server filled with newer people, I think some people are handling it very well. I think some people are trying to figure out how they should handle it, and that's where we are.
In my opinion, I think people see the storyline and like, not to toot our own horn, but it's a good freaking storyline.
It's awesome, dude.
It's a really good storyline. I think people want to interact with it, and maybe some of that happened a little fast. For this particular situation. And right now it's on the brink of getting a little toxic. So I got some plans to kind of like mitigate that and kind of bring it, back to like a good little home base, The reality is like from our end, I could care less if I actually successfully do anything. You know what I mean? Like and that's the hard part to convey to people is I could absolutely care less if we actually successfully press sellers or do whatever. We're not trying to take away people's fun. We're trying to poke the bear a little bit and have some conflict RP within gangs and stuff.
I think we poked the wrong bear though, Nick. The bear I was hoping to poke more was the PD bear.
That's what I wanted.
Absolutely. I wanted detectives. I wanted folks staking us out for hours. Trying to figure out the whole pipeline and build the case. That's
unfortunately like. We've gone like almost I don't know how long we've been doing this.
It's been 3 weeks. It's been like,
has it been 3 weeks?
When you think about a story like this, that is a long, like I figured by 3 weeks we'd be in court, honestly, by the start of week.
That's crazy. Cause 3 weeks is insane. Cause I didn't realize it was that long.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
we started this in December.
That's crazy. So 3 weeks, right? Yeah. And we have not had one inclination that anyone's investigating us in any way from the PD, right? And so the last thing I thought was going to happen was going to be a problem with like all the crims, like basically the whole entire server now, because what we did in that, we didn't finish this, but what we did in that meeting was there's like a gang that's up in kind of like the countryside. They're called the Hillbillies. I know that's not necessarily the best term in the world, but like they're called the Hillbillies, and that's just like the name of their gang. But they also control the drug market. And so we actually in the past had a war over it, and they allowed us after that war to be in the business, and they kind of RP'd out that they gave us like Meemaw's recipe and they had, Peepaw's recipe or whatever.
Yep.
And so we show up to that meeting and they come in fiery, like, cause they said, oh, like, there's been somebody who's got stabbed over selling some blue with their gang colors on, which is another thing I don't really want to get into too much. So then the Hillbillies come in and they just come in like fiery, like just say like, no, this is exactly what's happening. We're taking it over. If we find your guys as sellers, we're going to stop them. If we find you guys cooking, we're going to stop them. And then they said there was inclinations of another crew helping the hillbillies that they were calling the bitch gang, which was us.
Yeah.
Which it wasn't gonna get a rise.
Shadows in a nutshell.
Yeah, basically. But it wasn't gonna get a rise out of the character. I didn't feel like that was right to like chime up just because they called us a bitch or something.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
Then like, you know, the hillbillies mess up and go, yeah, that's Nick, you know, which I loved. And so then now we had to go in and kind of like fill that role of, yes, like my character, I've just been RPing out slowly that he's getting drunk with the power of it. And that like he all of a sudden now is like, yes, we are taking it over and we will stop you from selling. We'll stop you. Really, the key more is that we're trying to stop suppliers. So if they're just like selling on their gang block, we're actually not even going to go after them. Like when we like went after the Vago, he was like more closer to like
he's by the car wash. Like
he was Popular and Eclipse, like on that corner.
Yeah, so nowhere. That's actually not even anywhere near as like. I mean,
that's what I'm saying. And he's telling everybody that we're on his turf. You know what I mean? And I'm like, what the frick, man? But we like. The reality is, we're just trying to like RP this out, and we're gonna fail, and we're happy about that.
And then we'll do our next thing.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. And so that's kind of like the gist of it. I feel as if some people might think that, being some of the bigger streamers in the server in our crew and stuff like that, they might feel as if we're trying to just like big dick everybody and like crush them. Like we actually even care about being important on the server.
Correct.
But I promise you, at least I can speak for me. I can actually probably speak for Texas too here, but we're just not that.
Yeah. Well, and not to give you meta. Right, but I'll give you some context. I'm in the city again today, and I find out literally every gang has cut us off from any bench and any items on bench, and it's like, and it's a level of why just raise the prices, just find a way to like make things like you don't like keep the options open, right, without just like all in on one gang, because when we see this, you and I have seen this happen on other servers and seen it go catastrophically wrong, because some gangs with good RPers will forget it and move on, and some gangs never will.
That's the hard part. Yeah, is if people like use this against us forever. That kind of sucks. We can overcome it, but it's not a big deal.
Yeah. I mean,
like,
listen. Yeah.
I don't know. It's not a bad move. You know, cut off everything from us, and then we got to like kind of RP that out. I'm fine with it.
I got plans. Okay, I'm a really smart guy. Like
I'm the leader of the
shadows.
Yeah. I think. Yeah. That's a role play move in my opinion. I'm fine with it. I think we just, it's just all.
That's my thing. As long as it stays a role play move, story ends, and then like the world opens back up. That's like the piece.
My view is that it's our job now to, bring back a little bit of the aggression from the meeting. It's like it's our job to kind of like now for me maybe to call some gangs and just be like, hey guys, this is what we mean. We want to be the main supplier. Okay.
Yeah.
So if you want to buy from us, you can buy from us. If you want to sell on your block, we're not going to come and push a block. All right, buddy. Like, we're not going to come and like, that'd be so like,
well, and we're ridiculous. Not going to mess with your sellers if they're selling our strain.
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of what I'm trying to say, and so it's kind of like a cool role play moment. And most of them, I think, want to just sell their own stuff on their block and view that.
And we know why.
It's a money printer.
It's a money printer.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day,
well,
bro,
and that's, I mean, if you remember, there was a time when those tables cost 300 narco.
Yeah.
Like there was a time when there was kind of a toll gate to get there, and it was a risky investment. And then you had like Moonshine, which was like the entry level, and it kind of grew, right? So I don't know, I think as the city and server evolves, listen, those mechanics are going to change. Those money printers will go away. Like that's the nature of the beast, because servers want to keep the economy down. They don't want the economy pushing up.
Yeah, and I think I'm happy there's some movement with the whole thing. It's cool that there's some movement and there's something going on. I think there's things that we are doing right. There's things that we're doing wrong. Yeah. I can only control what I do in the server. You know what I mean? As much as like people might look at, my character as like more leadership of the shadows. Like,
yeah, you're my assistant.
Or nice. Or an assistant to the leader. Yeah. Or like Jack or like whatever. We can only control like so much. Like today I'm off. You know what I mean? Like it's Saturday, whatever. Like
you don't want to know. You don't
Yeah,
wanna
whatever
know.
like ginormous thing I'm coming back to tomorrow, I couldn't control. Okay, so if it was like something like not good role play, then whatever. But all
Yeah.
I can say is like at the end of the day, I just want I want good role play. I want good stories for my viewers, but also I think a key component of role play, and maybe you can if you agree with me on this or not, is that everybody in there, loss or win, is leaving like, damn, that was good.
Yeah, no, like so I think most people left that meeting with a excitement of my character's gonna get to do something. Now, that excitement shouldn't be let me armor up and get all my guns out of the closet. That excitement should be, hey, this whole new like level of gang conflict that did not exist. I'll actually say that outside of our war with the ballers, like Rush Hour is pretty passive as far as gang versus gang friction.
Yeah, I think anyone would agree with that.
Like it is compared to other cities I've been, like it is very passive. And that's okay. And then it's not, because once again, we're in Los Santos, we're in GTA. So even if gangs are working together, they should also be working against each other at the same time. So if we're ever working with the ballers, we should also be trying to get one up on the ballers while we're working with the ballers.
It's what we're trying to do with the hillbillies, bro. That's what we say every time. We're like, we're befriending them until we can take over their operation as well. You know, that's like the viewpoint of the character. You know, it probably will never happen, but like that's the viewpoint of the character. You know, and so I don't know. I just hope that people see that we're not trying to be people who, at least I can say I am not trying to be somebody who's just like, I don't view it as like you rise to the top of a server. I view it as like everyone involved should have somewhat of a good time at the end of it. And even unless they don't really get the whole role play thing, if they lose, they're just gonna be mad. But if they're good RPers, everyone should have their moment in the situation to go. And I think we did a good job with that with the Ballas recently. Like you're saying, I just fed into everything that Mel was doing. I thought it made great story. Like I thought it was just like absolutely insane. You know, like the whole Zimmerman thing. I even like baited my chat on that because I was like, bro, oh, you guys like Zimmerman? They're like, he's such a cute old man. They believed it, dude. And like, I was just like, you guys are gonna be so betrayed, you know?
Yeah.
And,
well, listen, when Mel was Ron, and we were at the gas, I had no idea.
Really?
I had no idea.
That's badass. Yeah.
Like his range was that good with it that I was just like, oh, this guy's wrestling our turf. You know, like I was ready. I was like, we're gonna clap this cowboy. So, it is cool. Like I go back to even look at our Bro Street arc we had, pre Prodigy Shift. And we can talk about that in a second too. But pre Prodigy Shift, we were in Bro Street and it was the HOA, and it was this like really kind of fun, cool thing. And Capajo and Rico and those folks were like very involved with it when they kind of would leave you breadcrumbs. So when Nick would wake up, what happened now? Like on the street, and all of a sudden like they've dumped trash or they've lit your house on fire or XYZ, and you fed into it. And to me, that's where like conflict can be healthy, because it was conflict where even though all that's going on, it's not circle, you know, we're swarming. It was
four guys hunting. Let's go around the whole city. Let's find them. Yeah. Okay, let's go and shoot them. Okay, perfect. All right, 1 down, 2 down, 3 down. Okay, perfect, good. And then like the biggest,
every time you saw each other, here's a 30-minute conversation before it escalates.
Yeah, exactly. And I think with the Ballas, they did a really good job recently too with using different, you know, melee mechanics or things like that. That escalate things really, really cleanly. And I just shooting is so boring to me, you know, like shooting, if it's built up well and it builds up to this crazy shootout, that's badass, you know? And we're like, you know, I might even pop some shots around somebody that's like around them to like make, you know, kind of like allow it to go. Or
I definitely do that too. I definitely purposely miss.
And it's definitely purposeful. No, but I think, it's kind of about that. I mean, everyone always says give and take, but what that really means is just like, you know, allowing yourself to sometimes be tricked in conflict, or allowing yourself to just feed into stories, and just have a good escalation. I was really surprised with that with the recent with Mel and stuff like that, because they didn't have that many people around at that time, so they just were like role playing out a gang, like not war, but like just beef with, you know, 2 people around at the time. You know?
Well, and that's, by the way, that's one of the things I enjoyed when we checked out Prodigy was no matter what the scam we were running, someone was willing to buy. every time. Every time I would pick up the call and like go through Yellow Pages and try to like come up with some reason to get 5K from somebody, I would get it.
In Prodigy, really?
In Prodigy, yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I had a lot of success with that. Where I didn't have a success in Prodigy was also the fact that the people who aren't in the Yellow Pages are just grinding. It's like having a bunch of NPCs, and so that's a little bit different than what we have in Rush Hour, and so I think it's kind of you have some more mature people that were on Prodigy that we could like some really, again, I think that's when No Pixel had shifted over, and so you had a lot of those guys around, right? Like other Carmine at PDM. Like you had a lot of these guys that just have very, very solid characters. They know how to RP. They know how to say yes to a scene.
Yeah, I found that the big guys didn't have a problem like role playing with everybody, but it was like the medium sized guys that made it weird. I don't know. Maybe it was just a me thing. Like, and I just couldn't break through in terms of like finding people to RP with consistently, or like good little stories like I do on Rush Hour. Or maybe it's that I'm a bigger fish in a smaller pond on Rush Hour, and that people want to interact with me.
Yeah,
that's possible too. I get that.
It could also be maybe people like, I'm going to say this. I may have had that experience because Sonny is a goofy character.
Yeah, absolutely.
And when people like that's so Rush Hour, I get a little bit more friction with Sonny than I did on Prodigy. On Prodigy, people are like, "Oh man, this guy has a funny voice. Let's listen to this funny voice RPer."
Absolutely.
And
yep.
I don't know. Like I'm gonna teach you to have a funny voice one day. It's gonna be so good.
I can do voice. You always say this, but
do a funny voice right now. Give me a funny voice.
Is Roy Hench not funny?
Do it again.
Hello there. How's it going there?
That's pretty good. Yeah, that's pretty good.
That's pretty funny, right? I mean, like, it's like,
pretty good.
What are you doing there, Sonny? I'm coming down here to talk to you and tell you.
That's the best Colonel Sanders impression I've heard today.
That's what I'm saying, bro.
That's
I mean,
good.
come on. You know, that's all right.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, and Leslie Hench and Red Dead was so much fun. You know what I mean?
Okay. I will retract.
Bodie? Bodie's all right.
Bodie's a bad character. By the way, I was actually hopeful that Bodie and Sonny would one day meet.
Be good.
But I can't now because I know you on Nick. And
what's funny though,
I don't like to cross pollinate.
I agree. Yeah. Bodie, it's funny because I named that character before I even knew like really Sunny Day at all. Yeah. And I think it's probably a popular thing to imagine a character like that with Sunshine or something like that. But
when you did it was when I was I was heavy on Jay Walker.
Okay,
right?
yeah.
I was almost
no, because you weren't even around like PMA at that time.
No, I was on Jay Walker the whole time.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I was on Jay Walker, and then you shifted the New Day.
Yeah, New Day is that character did pretty
You
well
shifted to New Day while I was on Jay, and then I shifted to I tried to go back to Sonny, tried to go back to the gun arc because we had like the whole at one point this whole gun trade. We were going to be the source of guns for the city. We had
you were the admin spawning in guns or what?
No. We had to go buy we had to buy guns and then we would resell the guns.
That's cool.
So we had like this broken down boat. We'd go to pick all the guns up. Our supplier would drop them off with our bill.
I saw that boat on a stream one time. I don't know where.
Oh, dude, it was stream sniped.
That was a badass boat though. That was such a cool idea.
Someone wiped it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So it was because the storage wasn't locked. And so someone like, okay, who's like really going to go all the way over here and find? Literally, we get the boat the first night. Okay. 3 hours later, it's wiped.
Yeah.
Little suspicious. We did it on stream too. And everyone's saying,
do you get mad about stream sniping or is it just like a,
it's a price of admission, but at the same time, it does suck because I think what people don't realize when they stream snipe is people like you, people like me spend a lot of time on build up, and we're investing our time to create this story and this content for everybody. Yeah. And I'm going to use an example of this Empire. One stream snipe can ruin a week's worth of RP. Mm-hmm. Don't do it. Say no to stream sniping.
Well, I mean, I ain't going to say that there hasn't been with this whole Empire RP. I mean, like, people know, like, so what I noticed is that people use the same words that I use on my stream when I talk about it. Like saying Empire, right? For instance.
Yep.
We only say that amongst each other or like I say that to my stream, right?
Yeah.
And that's what everyone's calling it right now, is like Nick's like empire in a way, you know?
Yep.
And it's not foreign to call something like that, but it's a very specific thing, you know? Like, I don't know.
Well,
And
that's dude. It's yes, it's happened. I will guarantee you
but
it's happened.
it's
But
part
what
of
can
it's
you
part of
do
the
about
deal.
it? Yeah, what
It's
can you
part of the
do
deal.
about it? You can't stop it. And then once it happens, it already happened.
Yeah.
All you can do is react and move forward. Like that's the whole thing. Like I used to tell people this because they would watch Sonny go to jail or get arrested, and they would be angry because our plan didn't have a chance to happen. And I'm like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
The best, and honestly, just because the plan didn't happen now, we'll use it later or whatever. But the best RP I've ever had comes from failure, not success.
Mm-hmm.
It
I
comes
agree with that.
when my character is like at its bottom or it's low or he's frustrated. That's when the really good RP comes out. When Sonny's happy, right, and like things are great. To be honest, it's a little bit boring. Like I don't like RPing everything's hunky dory. I mean, I do when we're in the car and I'm singing your pee break intermission.
That's right, yeah.
Jack killed me for it, but I'm okay with it sometimes, like some levity, but really, like Sonny's a dark character. I really wish, and you didn't like there are you didn't even see the original Sonny like back in PMA. Like there's problems. He is very, very flawed. He is self-destructive. He is an absolute. I mean, you've heard him talk to other characters in the city. He is an absolute monster in how he thinks of other people. Like he's not.
I think he's insecure. He's like, in my opinion, like he's insecure to the point of where he like overcompensates.
He's an insecure narcissist. That's a weird way to say it, but
yeah. That's a good way.
It's terrifying, right? That's why like the terroristic tendencies come out, right? It's because he's trying to peacock or bloviate. So I don't know, man. It's it'll be cool. I'm excited to see where all this goes. I think the Empire thing is step one.
How do you think I've handled that Empire thing? Good and bad stuff. What do you think?
I think you've done well. I think you've engaged a lot of new RPers, and that's props to you for giving I'll use Copper for example, for giving these people that probably would have ended up working at Burger Shop a chance to kind of develop something more faster than they would have.
Yeah. And meet other people too. Like they're all like doing jobs together on the side and stuff too, which is kind of cool.
Correct. Yeah. Like it's been great. And then, so that's good, right? I think a lot of it's good. The one thing that I don't love, and it's not your fault on this one, it's actually the fault that how I'm going to say PD responds to it. Is it's just become a chase mechanic right now.
Yeah.
Like our actual distribution. I wish our distribution, I wish it's so intense when I'm watching the seller in character and just trying to like be paranoid and keep this same level of paranoia up, and like cops roll by or I hear a car around the corner and I don't actually see it. It's kind of it's the horror movie thing, right? The monster's scarier till you see the monster.
Yeah. Yeah, I think part of it...
Cops are scarier till they roll up.
Yeah, part of the original vision was that it would be another, chase mechanic. Like it would be something that we could, if it got under control of somebody else, they needed help with driving, I could go from one thing to the next,
Mm-hmm.
And then it surprised me how deep the RP was, like when we did it. But I agree with that. I think more sellers getting caught could be good, but even when our sellers have gotten caught, they book them and send them immediately.
See, I would rather not see our sellers get caught. What I would rather see is seller gets done with shift, and then as he's leaving and signs off radio, cops pick him up and interrogate him.
Yeah, yep, absolutely. That's what a great point. That's a great point, yeah.
To me, that is, okay, listen, we're not going to arrest this guy right now, but let's plainclothes up, and we're going to follow this dude till he gets back to Alta, and then we're taking him.
Yeah, that's good. That's bad. Jay would do that, Jay Walker.
I would have, dude, so that's... I got in trouble on rush hour when I was in BCSO because instead of responding to calls, I was following this one drug dealer around the city. And I think he got banned. But
You're like, damn it, all my hard work, bro.
But I was following this one because I had seen him with class 2s on his back while selling, and I'm like, I don't want to roll up on this. A, by myself. B, I actually want to figure out where he's going, where he's keeping all this stuff, where he's storing it, and I got written up, which was cool. But
it's kind of hard because like you can't have everybody. Like people got to respond to stuff, and that's why I don't want to play cop personally. Like I just don't do well with
cop's hard, man.
Well, and with RP, like it's hard to like you have to do this, you have to do that. I just a lot of people like that because there's always something to do. Yep. Personally, I've gotten so used to like creating our own shit that I love that freedom of like boom boom, like finding a way to make pacing like boom 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 boom.
Rush Hour is in need of detectives. And that's why I'm hoping the 80s cop, whoever plays that 80s cop or the 70s cop, you know, in like the red pants and like the 70s slacks, and he plays like 70s
McGinnis?
McGinnis. I hope McGinnis just like tries to do something detective wise versus like riding around. Yeah. Because, you know, some Hawaii 5-0 shit would be great. Like let's or Miami Vice, let's do something cool with it. They need it. They need a way to slow down cops. And I'll tell you too, like I think, and I say this with looking at your chat and my chat and Jack's chat and across the board, the cops aren't bad. No. They have a hard job RPing. Yeah. Because it's their job to extend without being obvious about it, without doing it in a way that feels like they're not doing their job, because POC policy wise, they get penalized for that. Mm-hmm. And that's it's hard to be a cop and be successful and not be an SBS cop.
Yeah. Well, that's where I tried to give one cop a little bit of leeway recently, where he was being a hard ass like on a traffic stop, and I'm like, maybe that's just like how he wants to RP. Yeah, do you know what I mean? Like he could just be chill as a cucumber, you know, and just back there just boom, you know. But he, you know, I just kind of like role played out a traffic stop exactly how he would probably want, you know, somebody who's a little bit like, okay, yeah, I won't, you know, okay, what do I do? Do I go to court? Where do I sign? You know, that kind of stuff. And I think that's kind of, I don't know, like I try to pick up on those things, like with people, like what are they trying to role play out? Because that's so foreign to me, you know, I wouldn't particularly want to do that, or like EMS or like that kind of stuff. I just wouldn't really want to.
EMS is super repetitive unless you have good people RPing on the other side. And most
you would
people
have to build up a team. I would say like EMS would have to be a team of RPers that like you guys do it in a certain way.
It's got to be a Grey's Anatomy thing.
Yeah. Right. I think we could successfully do something, but
it's your own show. It's your own show within a bigger show, right? And that's because most people just want to get up and get out.
Yep. Hey, can you get me up? Can you get me up? You know, like,
they don't want to hear that while they were getting a scan, you found a tumor. They don't want that, right? They're like, no, I just broke my toe. Like, just give me, you know, get me out of here.
If I were to perma Nick, I would want to perma him in those kinds of ways, like a real way, you know, like like that, you know, like just like a heart attack or like a tumor.
There's
like,
two ways. I'm the same way. There's two ways that Sonny will perma: jail forever.
That's good.
Or you. At this point, those are the two ways. Don't you dare do it.
I'd love.
Don't you dare do it. But no, like I think those are the only most impactful things that can happen to my character. Like somehow Sonny murders a cop in some situation protecting you and gets the 9s for that and goes to jail forever. That's the end of the character.
That's when you're gonna be wanting to play other games. What it'll be, you'll be like, oh God, I just
I don't really want to be a lifer as Sonny. It doesn't sound as much fun just working out. Do my two jumping jacks, get tired.
Yeah, man. No, I think overall it's been good. I think the drug arc, I'm excited to see it kind of come to an end eventually here, you know, like, or at least whatever it's going to become for us, but
it won't come to an end, Nick. It's going to flatten.
Yeah.
And so it'll be a low maintenance thing for us. So we want to just get it to where it's low maintenance, and then it'll eventually fizzle. But let's get it low maintenance, because someone, like, I'll give you these people, Harris and Kaya are doing a great job keeping that thing running even when we're not around.
Yeah.
And so you give the keys to the car to someone else, let them take it as far as they want to take it, and then we'll see, right?
Yeah.
Because then you and I will be taking the keys to a new car and selling that car, and like life will keep, like moving and shaking from there.
Yeah, I think it's the hardest thing to do in an RP story is end it. That's the hardest thing to do. Like finish it well, and that it's like done.
It's so tough. It's so
It-
like the Clarence thing. Like when you did that, dude. Like when he jumped.
What did you think about that? What did you think about how I handled that particular thing?
I did not know. I did so the whole time. I did not realize we were walking into a perma situation.
Yeah, I didn't think we were either until he doubled down. I was like, oh, that's what he's trying to do.
Even when he doubled down, I thought at some point up on the like this is a scare tactic from Nick, and then you're like walk closer. Then I'm like, oh, this is happening. Like this is it.
Yeah.
And then he fell off because that was actually better for me. He just
Well, that's kind of
fell off.
why I chose to say that line of like, you're just like everyone else.
Yeah,
Like you're just like everybody else.
dude, it was a very intense scene. And so then you have Sonny, who sucks with emotions. He's like, so you want the $10,000?
Just give it to Jack, all right? I need some time.
Yeah, and it's and while you're trying to drive down this mountain slow and think, I'm like sliding down the mountain, or like flipping past you because I'm a terrible driver. But there's a level of just like what's the word? Like catharsis that occurs from that type of RP to where like you're chewing on something emotionally and like you're seeing this build up, and then even like leaving, like when we were leaving, there was kind of like a release of like, wow, that's Clarence's story. Like I'm glad
if it is, I mean, maybe not, but
I know, but I was like, I'm glad I got to be a part of it. I was actually like, I'm like, Clarence is gonna wake up in the hospital and like rat us out to the FBI.
I actually like sat there and was just thinking like, that was like, I actually was even like a little bit, I didn't want to do that, to be honest. Like from a content standpoint, like he is just perfect. You know what I mean? Like from like just selfishly having him around is like freaking awesome because I laugh, everyone loves him, all that kind of stuff. Like it's great, like, and but with this storyline, I've had to make some decisions like that cut people off, and I hate that feeling because I don't want people to like feel like I don't want them around personally. It's not that, it's just that I've like chosen that during the storyline we're taking really high stakes. So even when like we had Winston, the whole Winston situation, it was same thing. It was like, shoot, man, he just said something that I cannot look past as a character. Like, what do I do? I mean, what do you do with that?
Well, it's hard too because you want to RP with the guy because you like love RP, and then we have to make the choice of his son shows up, which is him.
Yeah, that's hard.
And we can't like that. We can't open that back up because we just killed off your other character. Like we can't.
I'm not super closed off to like allowing people to come back in on another character or something like that, but
that was a familiar relationship though, dude. Like that's hard.
It has to really make sense. For that one in particular, I wanted him to be able to blossom outside of us. Yeah. And maybe something happens between us, I think just coming back right into the same role would be confusing for the audience, but also confusing for him. I think he'd get bored and be like, this is the same storyline, and so I felt like the best move was to kind of be like, if you need us, call us. We took care of your dad, and I think that was kind of like best practices.
Sonny's idea, friend from afar.
That was good. Yeah, absolutely.
You're like, Nick, I got an idea.
Didn't I say that?
You do that shit all the time, and I love it. But I'm also like it pisses my character off so much.
You're like, what about this idea? I'm like, okay. I'm like, guys, I have an idea. And then Sonny's like, what? And everyone's like, wow, Nick, that's good.
Yeah. Whatever, dude. As the assistant to the leader, I'll let you have it.
Yeah, exactly. So I guess since being back to Rush Hour, what are you kind of feeling? I get like with everybody coming back, like what's kind of the vibes?
It's interesting, right? And I'm gonna say this because we came back You and I talked about this actually after a session at Prodigy. Because the cube, and I was getting just destroyed by the cube, by the way, which was atrocious. And I was like, you know what? I felt like there's just more creative freedom rush hour. So we came back, and it was different. The pace of cost was different than when we left. There had been like a lot of things that changed in the city, like quite dramatically as far as who has power within the world now. And I initially like went back and I'm like, maybe, right? Because I almost feel like we woke up from our house and we jumped right back into like craziness.
Mhm.
And then a week and a half. So there was a time, I think I told you this. In December, I was like, hey man, this is great, but I think I'm gonna take a break.
Yep.
Because we were heisting. And then this happened. The slow burn stuff happened. And I'm like, nope, no break. Let's do this. Right? Like there's a level of this is the RP that I enjoy.
Yeah.
Right? Like episodic RP is good, but when you have a shorter time investment, like being able to like come in and continue on with a story that exceeds your time is great, because even when I log off, I'm still part of the story. Things are still happening. Things are still moving.
That's a really good point. Yeah,
Like-
that's actually a really good point, because it's every time you log in, you're not like trying to make sure that you're on the 4 for like a heist.
Dude, yeah. It's like, let me be on at 1:00 so that I can get in the first 3, and then when Nick gets on, that'll be 4.
Yeah, I mean,
Whatever, bro.
Well, I'm not saying that because
No,
of me.
I know.
Hopefully, did that come off that way? Hopefully that
No,
didn't
I
come
was
off
just
that way.
joking. I was just joking. Like it was, but there is. I feel so bad for you. Like for my character, we'll call Nick because that's his best friend. You get 50 phone calls the second you log in, and how did they know you woke up? Like how do we know?
It's not the best. Some days I'm tired and I'm like, I don't want to have to figure out content for me and for other people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mhm.
But it also, like, it's a mutual trade-off.
Yep.
These people bring entertainment, and I think a lot of my viewers like to see these characters through my character's eyes, which I feel very lucky that they want to see that.
Yep.
But also, they just bring an entertaining side of the table, So for me, like with my with people who have found me first,
Mhm.
I don't ever try to say like my viewers or anything like that, but with people who have found me first and find other people that were like RPing with, I think that's fantastic, man. I think it's only going to be better for everybody, right? Like
Well, okay.
everyone.
So I'm going to say this: the community that supports you is very invested in not just you, but like your friendships in the city. And I think that's, dude, I don't like, you read your chat. What's interesting is I'll go to other streams as well, like while yours is going on. And they're like, people are very invested with your relationships as a RPer. And because they're like, hey, this is my favorite streamer. And I love when they react with XYZ. I hate when they react with ABC, right? Like there's things there, and you're like, listen, that like that network will be there, but I also think that you're, the community that supports you, not your community. I'm trying to like follow your language here.
Yeah, I just don't like. I don't like.
I know.
I don't have ownership over anybody in a way.
But what I'm saying is they'll transcend, because the quality of content that you're putting out right now, both not only in your stream but in character, supersedes who you RP with. I think you could have just as much success if you were with the Eternals, or you would have just as much success if you were with the Vagos, because you would still be putting out the same quality content that you want to do, and you would elevate the people around you. This is that
Wow.
DM mentality I'm telling you about. Like, so this is why I got burned out in PMA. Sonny was a quest giver.
Yeah.
And it's always, how could I enable RP for everybody else? And it's exhausting. You're finding a way not just to enable RP for everyone else, but also to give you a channel to create content through that. And that's what I'm saying. It doesn't matter who you're with. I watched you go on with a variety of different people in different cities, whether it was New Day, whether it was here, whether it was a PMA, and you elevated the people around you. Yeah, sure, you have great people like Chunky who are just great, and they don't need you, right? They don't need you to pick them up. they're going to have give and take with you. But then you also have people who they're newer to RP or they're still trying to figure out their character. And
I don't
you're
think
helping them do that, dude.
I appreciate it. That's right. That's like hecking kind for you to say, but I think the reality is some people just need a chance to like not like have a stage like in front of viewers, but they just need a chance to like have somebody be like, "What do you want to do?"
Mm-hmm.
Within parameters, because they kind of need a little bit of direction. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
like oh, like hey, we're gonna go do this. How should we do it? Or like say you bring up an idea and it's like, okay, so how are we going to do that? Or like, oh, what if we tried this? Or the one thing I think about with Kurt McGirt was like he always like fell in love with somebody, and then that one day we did that date with him with Sierra, and then like everyone just like goes in on it because we could have just taken her, or even the date that you did for me and TT, you know, we could have just taken you know, her to like some food place and just boom, I just talked to her there. But instead, it adds a whole nother element that you call me and then I hint to you like, oh yeah, I'm about to come over there. You know, like, and you're like, what? You know, and like just like make it happen. That
if you would have seen the sheer panic in that character trying to get ready, it was so good.
It's just good. It's like for me, the more people I can like plug into the story, whatever that, even if it's episodic, like you're saying, the more people I can plug into that, the better. Personally, I don't think heists are my main focus anymore. Like, I think heists are a big piece of what I do. I think the driving stuff that I do is entertaining for people, or the big plans that we have are fun. But now we can kind of do those on the fly. So like, we don't need to spend as much time like planning like we did before, you know?
Well, okay, you say
we
that.
We do and we don't, but like,
however, so here's the thing, like we're getting our driving right now out of the Empire stuff.
Yeah.
And I was telling Jack and character this the other day. I actually want us to get back to planning.
I absolutely do.
Like I want us to get back to like really thinking about, you know, not a swap, like whether it's using the tractor trailers, using the new primal trucks, right? What can we do? This is how my plans go now for you to create a cool 45-second TikTok.
Is it TikTokable or you know? They're actually a minute or longer now, which is kind of funny.
Whoa, that's pretty crazy. But no, I mean that's like the reality is, it's I when we're doing our plans, I'm like, would I find that entertaining?
Yeah,
like that's now where I've gotten to with it, because like the driving stuff, I guess we do it so much that like
it's entertaining for live viewers. It doesn't really translate well other places, in my opinion. Like it's easier to sell the idea that we did, like, even for me while I'm live, I can be like, we're doing Operation this, and it's with construction equipment, you know, and it's that, you know, and when we don't have those plans, it's not boring. It's still exciting, but for the live viewer only. And it's nothing that someone's going to look back on and be like, remember when you did this drug arc? For as long as I go live on Twitch, people are gonna be like, remember when you like ran that like drug arc on Rush Hour? They'll remember that, right? It's something I'll remember. These little, like, you know, these things, that the memories that like are created live are that's what it's all about.
Well, it's like you guys did the reverse hostage thing, or the reverse robbery.
Yeah,
you just pulled the Uno reverse card. That was fantastic, because for a viewer, right? I watched it. There's an investment, there's an execution, and there's a payoff. When we're just doing heists on our own, it's just execution. Like that's all. Like there's no. I'm not emotionally attached to what you're trying to do. Yeah. And like even like Sonny, like that's like when we're just like driving around, I'm like, oh great, we're in the car again. Guess I'm gonna be on foot because Jack's gonna miss a jump. Like that's what goes through my head. And versus like when we did the I mean, it was a Prodigy, the bridge.
Oh my god, that was such a good plan.
We spent like several hours trying to figure out how to make that work.
Days, yeah.
And that's like, I mean, obviously I spent that much time on every heist, but that's why I kind of wish the heists were harder.
Whoa. The heists are freaking hard, bro. What are you talking about?
The hacks?
The hacks are difficult for most people, yeah.
Okay. I wish they were slower. I wish there was some way, and I'm gonna say this right now. I feel like we should be robbing one bank a day, not 4.
Yeah.
I would rather have it where we have like one bank and there's buildup, and then maybe there's some kind of like red hands cooldown or something that keeps you like as a group from being able to rob it again. I'm not saying like everyone hit the banks at 1 o'clock because all the banks lock down after you do one.
Yeah.
But like as a character, as a crew, some kind of cooldown mechanic against the app, and then make it pay out more. And
yeah,
then,
I don't think like cooldown mechanic is the answer in my opinion. I think it's more make that bank so much fun the first time you do it that you don't need to do it again that day. Like make it like you're saying, I guess more complicated, like more steps, but that you don't have to rush to it to where
Correct.
like everyone's got to like race to it. There's got to be some way where it can be a longer heist before the cops get there.
I think if you do that, I feel better about like so with Sonny. I don't we've done this before. We did jewelry, Fleeka, and Bay City, and then you guys went and did yacht, all in like a 3-hour period.
Yeah.
And I was like, this doesn't make sense to my character. Like, what is this?
Yeah.
And
don't be an elitism person, but you freaking loved
I'm elitist,
right?
but
you
you
were
know, I listen. I think that's where and I had someone I used to RP with who would be like, you know, slow it down. That's where I get it. Like, I'm not a fan of
that makes sense to me. I agree with that.
Chain robbing, right? It's just not something that, and I don't say it's not that we're doing it because like our characters love to do heist, but it's also
I think it depends on who you're bringing, right? Like if you're bringing the same people all the time to that heist, if you're enabling RP for different people,
correct.
I think that makes more sense, right? Like if my character is taking certain people on a heist or doing this, and then all of a sudden I go on another job with our gang, and then like I think that makes sense. But less and less I'm interested in just heist stuff, unless it's centered around RP, like you're saying, like a plan or those kinds of things. I love a chase. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love driving. I think I love being good at that and like being able to like hit routes and stuff like that. But I can get that in other ways. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to be that we're robbing 3 banks in a day. It could be that I have, you know, a storyline like this or something that we're thinking in the future with those, like, you know, the boosting and stuff like that. That kind of stuff to me it actually is higher stakes on a chase than a bank, you know?
Oh, dude, like the chases for the blue are intense.
And very intense. Yeah. Especially when they go like long, you know?
Mm-hmm.
There's been a few times I try to like slow down when I'm leaving because like I want them to like actually chase us and have a thing, but
well, that's where like when we're doing our like the precision we're doing on the blocks and the plans and stuff with that, like to me, I'm a lot more invested in that moment than I am on when we're running from a bank.
Oh yeah. Well, that moment that we just had, let's break this one down. So I pick up Copper, I hit a curb, flip over Turtle, and he launches out and is done. He's knocked out. And I literally have to call on you and Terry, or no, and Chad to come over there and like figure something out. And you had to shoot a cop, which I thought was like, I didn't think you would do.
Yeah, I don't know if you heard my character. Like, I think Chad responded. Maybe you responded. I was like, hello? Should I shoot him? Like there
I
was like
stopped for a second too. I go, fuck, what do I tell him? Because like it's our empire, you know what I mean?
Well,
and it could be hinging on this moment right now, you know?
Correct. And so I did, and this is what you don't know. Sonny screwed up. I counted down 3, 2, 1, and I forgot to load my gun.
Yo, dude, that's like one of my most popular clips, dude. Is that when I did that?
And so I forgot to load my gun, and so then I was like, oh, and so then I load my gun, and I get like he sees me because I was just clicking at the cop.
Were you live for this or no?
No.
Oh, damn.
Thank God. And so then I load my gun and I take a couple of shots, and then he shoots back at me. And he gets behind his car, and I'm like, oh no! I just get in my car and drive off. I don't even see what happens after that. Chad had finished him off. I didn't know this at this point in time. So Sonny's in like panic. So,
Oh, so you just got back in? You didn't even.
I completely bailed. I was like, there was another one. I was like lying. There's another one. There's another one.
I'm like, there was another. Shoot them. Why didn't you shoot? I was like, if they're both in the car, just shoot the other one.
Dude, it was so good. And then Chad, like, I don't know if he actually saw two cops. Maybe there were two cops. I only ever saw one. But
yeah.
But
does your heart pound in those moments? Because mine
yeah.
does.
Oh yeah, dude.
It's like
one
of the most exciting things.
It's the PUBG winner chicken dinner, like PUBG top 3 moment. Yeah, you're like, oh, it's gonna happen. Because I'm not a shooter. Like I stand by. I have not shot much in GTA RP at all. Jack probably shoots more in 1 week than I've ever shot RPing in GTA.
Mm-hmm. I shot more in Prodigy in the time that I was there than I ever had shot. And I was like, I hated it. I was just like, bro, like, it's just the dumbest thing because it never ends well. People get mad.
Yep.
You know, and it just is like this, like, I don't even want to do it. Why are these people like getting me into this? You know, like, it's just,
there's nothing worse than after a shooting, you're walking up to the person you just shot and they're like, oh my gosh, why did you even do that? Like they kind of like go like it happened today when I was in the city and we had to shoot some guys. And this guy's like, what was that about, man? And I'm like,
yeah, that's the crazy dude.
I'm like, crazy. I think you know. Like, I think it's pretty obvious.
The most infamous one, bro, is the cucumber lady, bro.
That was a real pickle of a situation.
But yeah, dude, that I felt bad. I mean, the problem that I have right now that I didn't think I would ever really have is like now these people are being broadcasted to, 180 people on Twitch,
and they may not realize it at the time they're reacting, right?
Yeah, and then plus more people on TikTok as well, and sometimes way more people on TikTok. And I just with that situation in particular, I think she kind of like dug her own grave on that one, and that's just kind of what it is. But
it was a great clip.
I had to make a clip out of it for sure. I mean, that was just no way I couldn't do that. But somebody was like saying you should make like a sound clip. I'm like, I'm not gonna make it eternal on my stream. You know what I mean? I feel like that's a little too far. But I mean, it's hard because like, and not even just that, like somebody getting mad, but even someone like Kaya or like Angel, she isn't expecting everybody to like when she first. I don't even think she knew I streamed when we first started like role playing, and so. Now her character is being dissected by like 200 people, whether it's a cop or not.
Mm-hmm.
And every decision she makes is like dissected. And like, how can you not look at that?
By the way, she's still a cop, just so you know. She's still a cop.
Well, I mean, and that's the hard part is like these people don't sign up for that, And so I do.
So it happened to me. Like, I think when you and I first started RPing together, I want to say a lot of your chat hated me or hated Sonny. Mm-hmm. Because they're like, his voice is annoying.
Yeah.
And then
people said the same thing about Roy Hinch as well.
And then once they saw the interaction between the two, and I actually think it was when we were singing in the car.
Yeah, that was
like I think that was like the aha that everyone's like, I like these two together, right?
Mm-hmm. And I think everyone wants a friend like Sonny. In a way, like that will ride or die for them at any moment, even though they're like annoying and
they're probably gonna screw it up.
Yeah, and they're gonna screw it up. And like it's like every time I say to do something, he does it, and I can't tell if it's Sonny or Texas Reverend. Not sure yet, but
no, it's always Sonny. When I spelled white, that was Texas Reverend. When I spelled white, WITE.
The first bank we tried, yeah, you're like, I got this, white. But yeah, I mean, I think I appreciate you doing. We're kind of at like an hour, hour and 16. But I appreciate you doing this. It's not something that'll be like a one-time thing. So definitely, if you want to do it again, awesome.
Always down. And then say yes to more D&D. So
yeah, we'll have to do D&D eventually. It's been so freaking busy.
And we have people like Kaya who I actually think would do it and probably enjoy it. Like we have some other people that we're like interacting with right now.
Yeah.
Which may want to nerd out. I know, like you don't like the word nerd out because you've never played real D&D.
This is the most nerdy thing that we could ever do is dissect
RP
GTA RP characters through a podcast. I mean, But I do think it's interesting for any of the nerds out there, you know, in a way. You know,
No,
I
hey,
think that's cool,
listen. I hope everyone finds this enjoyable. I hope you guys enjoyed learning more about Sonny and Nick together. And I'm excited to see what happens for our characters. I'm excited to see what happens for the Empire.
Hey guys, thank you so much for making it to the end of this video. There's another one right here, or like maybe right here, or something like that. Also, if you have not subscribed to this channel yet, make sure you smash that subscribe button. If this is your first time ever seeing me, I'm also live on Twitch Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. Pacific time. I might be live right now, you never know. All right, see you in the next video. Bye!